नमो तस्सा भगवतो वरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्दस्स नमो तस्सा भगवतो वरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्दस्स नमो तस्सा भगवतो वरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्दस्स Commissioning custom enlightenment Tantam Satam Sam. Yes, Sachin is not there here today. I will be reading from this, continuing with Sachin's reading. Yes. So last week we have read till number 16. Today we'll continue from 17. Here Udayin, some person, having understood that acquisition is the root of suffering. Now, we are not always talking about material things when we are talking about acquisitions. You hold on to an attachment. You talk about the attachment. Tell everybody else around that you have an attachment. And guess what? You are attached. Deviates himself of the acquisition and is liberated in the destruction of the acquisition. Such a person I call unfettered, not fettered. Why is that? Because I have known, yeah, dewasts himself of the acquisition and is liberated in the destruction of the acquisition. Such a person I call unfettered, not fettered. Why is that? Because I have known the particular diversity of faculties in this person. So here, regarding the 4 types of person, Buddha is talking about the last kind of person where we hold on to our own attachments towards not only materialistic things, maybe our mind keeps holding on to form, feeling, perception, formation, and then our conscious experience as well. Whenever it is attached, whenever it takes personal, this is the type of person that is talking. And Bante is saying here that it's not only materialistic attachments, and we go and talk around and guess whatever we speak in that way. Definitely, our mind keeps an attachment towards them. And when that person who is liberated from this acquisition, who is detached from this holding on, from these attachments, that person is unfettered. He is no more clinging towards the attachments because he is not fettered, not attached to any of the acquisitions. For him, that person is called, is that particular person is diversity of the faculties in that person because that person has changed and then things keep happening. There are Udayin, 5 causes of sensual pleasure. What are the 5? Nanda madam, would you like to continue reading from here?
Yes. There are Udayin, 5 codes of sensual pleasure. What are the 5? forms cognizable by the eye that are wished for, desired, agreeable, and likable, connected with sensual desire and provocative of lust. Sounds cognizable by the ear that are wished for, desired, agreeable, and likable, connected with sensual desire and provocative of lust. Odors cognizable by the nose that are wished for, desired, agreeable, and likable, connected with sensual desire and Sindhu, I can't see the rest. Sindhu,
Yeah, I scroll the screen.
I can't see the screen.
Okay, I think I'm sharing the screen and it's completely fine. No problem from my side. Is it an internet issue?
Yeah, I'm not very good with IT, Sindhu. It's my screen is just frozen.
Okay. Odors cognizable by the nose that are wished for, desired, agreeable, and likable, connected with sensual desire and provocative of lust. Flavors cognizable by the tongue that are wished for, desired, agreeable, and likable, connected with sensual desire and provocative of lust. Tangibles cognizable by the body that are wished for, desired, agreeable, and likable, connected with sensual desire. And these are the five cons of sensual pleasures. I'll pause here. Again, this is what we consume in terms of our senses through eyes, through nose, through ears, through tongue, through body, and through whatever we are sensing. Of course, when we don't want it, and if we don't want to see something that is unwholesome, we just move our rotate our head and not see it or just close our eyes. And if we don't want to smell, we can do this. And if we are touching something hot, we can just move our hand back. And if we don't want to hear, we can close our ears. But something I felt like if there is something that is pleasing, which is comforting, that's where our sensual desire, our craving, our lust for it to want more comes in. And this is regarding whatever we are consuming by our eyes, whatever we are listening through our ears, whatever we are smelling, whatever we are eating, whatever we are feeling through our bodily contact, that comforting thing, which is if it's not there, we start craving for that. Just that's what we like, we desire. Then because of that, then we start to have that sensual desire towards that. Now, Udayin, the pleasure and joy that arises dependent on these five chords of sensual pleasures are called sensual pleasure, a fleeting pleasure, a coarse pleasure, an ignoble pleasure. I say of this kind of pleasure that it should not be pursued, that it should not be developed, that it should not be cultivated, that it should be feared. So here I say these five senses that we have, the pleasure that we feel from these senses, Buddha is giving us caution that this pleasure, which is dependent upon the five parts of our senses, is a coarse pleasure which is ignoble, and it should not be pursued, it should not be developed, it should not be cultivated. And whenever we are experiencing pleasure through these five senses, it should be feared. If we are non-practitioners of the Dhamma, then definitely not knowing the impermanence, when that pleasure goes away, we feel sad. But if you are a practitioner of Dhamma, of course you know that it is impermanent and you don't get attached to it. And of course, if you get too much involved in any kind of pleasure, your mind is feared of it. You are not going to enjoy these kind of pleasures as you would have did previously. Here, Udayin, quite secluded from sensual pleasures. Nanda madam, is your screen well now? Is it still frozen?
Yeah. I only can see 17 and few lines of 18.
Can everybody else see the screen well? Okay. Maybe I'll pause and resume so that you can. Did it change now?
No, it's the same thing too.
Okay. Oh, Paul is saying his is also frozen. Okay. Let me reshare the screen. Let's see. Yeah. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, we can see it now.
Can you read?
Yeah. You want me to read from 20?
Yes.
Here, Udayin, quite secluded from sensual pleasures. Bhante Vimalaramsi, how do you become secluded from sensual pleasures? You and you pointing can't say. How do you become secluded from sensual pleasures? You're sitting in meditation and you close your eyes. The sensual pleasure of seeing doesn't arise. You hear a sound, you don't think about whether you like or dislike that sound. You hear it as sound and let it be and relax and siksar it. With smell, with taste, with tangibles, and with mind. That's how you become secluded from sensual pleasures. It doesn't mean you stop that contact from happening. You can't stop the contact from happening, but as soon as notice it, you siksar it. And now you're not grabbing onto it. You're not holding onto it and getting into thoughts about how you like it. Majjhima Nikaya, secluded from unwholesome states. Bhante Vimalaramsi, how do you become secluded from unwholesome states? Any hindrance that arises is an unwholesome state. What do you do with unwholesome states? Student reply, 6 or 8. Bhante you got it, okay. Majjhima Nikaya, a monk enters upon and abides in the first jhana, which is accompanied by thinking and examining thought with joy and happiness born of seclusion. Bhante Vimalaramse, the reason that the hindrances are necessary and good when they arise is because when you start letting them go, they are teaching you where your attachment is. They're teaching you that that hindrance is me. I don't like it and I want it to be different than it is. Whatever that happens to be, and you start seeing it as an impersonal process. Now we deal in a world of concepts, okay? This is a concept right here pointing. What is this thing? This is a chair. Chair is a concept. Take the cushions off, take the pieces apart. Where is the chair? The chair is a lot of different things put together to make up the concept that this is a chair. The hindrances are the same thing. They are made up of a lot of little pieces that when you put them together, they make up the concept of suffering. They make the concept of restlessness. All of these are concepts. It is a word to describe a bunch of other little things that happen, and to make the communication easier, we say one word, but there's a lot of other things. Now take the word pain. What is pain? Where is pain? How is pain arises as an unpleasant feeling? I don't like that feeling, craving. I have a story about why I don't like that feeling. Clinging. I have a habitual tendency about that clinging. I always act this way when that kind of feeling comes up. See? That's how it arises. And it's a bunch of little things that made up this idea of what pain is. But when you start seeing this as an impersonal process, when you start seeing that there is feeling, there is craving, there is clinging, there is habitual tendency, there is birth of action, there is death of action, and the whole ball game starts over again. And it happens fast. But when you start seeing this more and more clearly by practicing the 6 hours, you're teaching yourself that this in fact is a process, and you're seeing it directly for yourself. It is not my feeling. Did I ask that painful feeling to come up or that unpleasant feeling to come up? No, it came up because conditions are right. I walk in here at night and I stub my toe on a chair. Did I ask that feeling to come up? Why did it come up? Because the toe made contact with something that was hard, and as unpleasant feeling arose. And immediately there's, I don't like it. And the story about why you don't like it, and the cursing and the dissatisfaction, and on and on. That's your habitual tendency. But when your mindful is good, you stub your toe, painful feeling is going to come up. You see your mind start going, shh, make a gesture around it, and you relax and then let it be. And then you start sending loving kindness. You have to come back to your object of meditation. Where does the loving kindness need to go when you have pain in your body? Your body is telling you right then, right there, I need love. Every painful feeling that arises is saying, I need love. So give it love. Send your message down to that toe that hurts. Let go, relax. Keep doing it as long as your mind gets pulled to that sensation. In a very short period of time, that pain disappears and you forget about it. You might notice it the next day when you got a blue toe, but when you have to think about how that happened, see, this is eminently practical stuff. And the more you get it into practicing the 6 hours, the more you're teaching yourself about how the process works. And when you start seeing that directly for yourself, it's not something you are ever going to forget. You know how the process works. It's just whether you want to use the 6 hours to get rid of it or you choose not to and suffer with it. That's where your choice is. I can suffer or not. It all depends on me, my choice. Can't blame anybody out there for your pain. Nothing out there is responsible for your pain. You are the only one that's responsible for your pain. You can react like you always act when this kind of feeling arises, or you can respond. Reaction takes you out of the present moment and has all kinds of suffering in it. Responding keeps you in the present moment. Dissatisfaction starts to go away. Your choice, always your choice. Well, I always act this way when this happens. Fine, you can do that, but don't come complaining to me about it, right? There was a girl that she was having nightmares. I was in Malaysia at the time. She came
Nanda madam, can
from,
we pause? And Nanda madam, can we pause a bit? Can you hear me?
yes, I can.
Yeah, because it's becoming lengthy. Maybe we'll learn, reflect on the something that we read before just now, and then continue from here. I think I like this is what Bhante says. Every painful feeling that arises, he says, I need love. Because whatever hindrances arises, whatever physical pain or mental pain that we have, can actually take it as a reminder, then radiate some love kindness. Oh, first no what's happening. Then try to seize it. I think it's almost Swati has given a very good explanation. First, uh, what you're saying, this contact is arising. We are not paying much attention towards those contacts that are happening. And as soon as contact arises, we know there is a contact, there is a feeling that arises. But most of the time when we are sitting and meditating, what happens is the contact happens, feeling of loving kindness is there. There is no more craving. There is no hatred or wanting or not wanting that kind of contact again or not. Uh, there is no pushing of that contact happening. And then, of course, here Bante is talking about concepts and then pain. Every time there is physical pain or maybe mental pain, we just don't like it. And it's natural tendency of a human being to push that pain away. And because of trying to remove that feeling with another kind of feeling is not at all wholesome. We end up suffering a lot. Then we bring up this Dhamma, we recognize that there is this pain, and this pain can be impersonal, not paying much attention to that. We do the 6R, we recognize it, release the attention from it, we relax the tension tightness, and we re-smile. Of course, when we are in pain, we know we are not at all smiling. We remind ourselves to smile and then return to the loving kindness. So everything is impersonal. Actually, we start blaming a lot here, where we start judging or maybe having some kind of view that this suffering is coming from outside, something which is not from myself. But we need to reflect back that whatever suffering we are experiencing is coming from within, not from outside. Of course, the more we are practicing it, the more we do the right effort, the more we start cleaning our mind. Each time hindrance comes in, we do the 6 hours. And I like it when Bante says that as the chain has different parts towards it, and as a concept we say to say. Similarly, hindrances, and these hindrances doesn't come one at a time; they come multiple, sometimes. And Bante says different. There are different aspects of a hindrance. Maybe as a chair has legs and cushions and backrest, armrest. Similarly, hindrances come with tension tightness, taking our attention away, and then letting and the mind which is peaceful is now occupied with some kind of hindrance. And every time there is a hindrance, every time there is a suffering, we have our own choice either to suffer and keep suffering or just let that suffering be there and just be a little far and then just accept it and come back and smile and be happy. Nanda ma'am, is it comfortable for you to continue or shall I?
Yeah, yes, I could do that, no problem. There was a girl that she was having nightmares. I was in Malaysia at that time. She came complaining about these nightmares, and she would describe these nightmares down to me down to me. I mean, she was really getting into it. And finally I said, well, why do you think you are having nightmares? Well, she said, I might be the night before the nightmare. I went to this scary movie. And I said, if you don't want to have nightmares, then don't go to those kind of movies. It's dumb. Well, I like those kind of movies. Fine. Don't complain to me about your nightmares. Nightmares. You have to be willing to change so that your mind is more uplifted all the time. If you're not willing to change, doing any kind of a meditation retreat is going to be incredibly painful, hard, and you will leave without any advantage at all. If you're willing to change, if you're willing to take a look at, I always act this way when this happens, and you say, oh, well, every time I do that, it hurts. I'm not going to do that anymore. You might forget sometimes, but that's okay. Make it into a game and play that game. I remember I had one student that she was really getting into her anger about the situation, and I gave her a whole bunch of pennies and said, I've always bought all of your hindrances. They're not your hindrances anymore. I bought them from you. And I gave her a whole bunch of pennies. Every time she'd get angry, she'd pull out one of those pennies. That's not mine. I gave that to Bante. Before long, the heavy D2 emotion started to get in balance because of that. She was willing to change. She saw the pain that she caused herself and she was willing to start letting that go.
Okay, we'll pause over here and see is, what we can learn from what Bhante is saying. I think here we can see just now what we read. Bhante has given a very good example. Uh, it's like, as we just read, that person who is getting scary is only because she was watching that scary movie and she has nightmares because of that. So what she was consuming and taking it personally, and she was getting completely involved through her five senses. And then that senses which she has consumed through her senses has gotten into her dreams and what caused her nightmares. And really we have to see and we have to learn the how this conditioning is happening. And we have to look at this with a different kind of perspective rather than what we have grown up and kept doing. And here there is another example. Bante has trained that another student regarding anger. He gave some pennies and he started saying, whenever you are angry, she used to take that one coin, one penny, and put it aside, saying, that's not mine. The anger that she's experiencing, that is not hers. And she gave it, I gave that one day. And whatever emotions, heavy emotions, or maybe anger, whatever we are feeling, this is natural and we can't, what do you say, take that anger out. Rather, just change our perspective towards the present situation and see those feelings that are arising as impersonal and just let them go. As soon as they arise, they will pass away. As time passes by, because of impermanence, they will pass away. And we smile, we zigzag, we smile, and not react to it and respond any of the situation. Nanda madam, sorry to trouble you. Maybe I can read.
No, but no, I could read it for you. Are you not well today?
Yeah. No, I'm good.
Okay. Now, the closer you can keep your 5 precepts, is this where I'm starting? Yeah.
Yes.
Now, the closer you can keep your 5 precepts without breaking them at all for a continuous stretch of time, the meditation naturally gets easier. Your mind will become more tranquil, more at peace. You'll be able to get into the jhanas more quickly because you don't have so many hindrances because of your past action. So, this is basically what this sutta is talking about, learning how to let go of your acquisitions so that they won't even arise anymore. What you think and ponder on, that is the inclination of your mind. You get to choose what you think and ponder on. If it's unwholesome, you can siksar it and let it go. Then you start staying on the wholesome. What's that? Wishing, loving, gesture. An interesting thing about loving kindness, I read this in a commentary. I'm not sure how accurate it is. They said that if you sit down and do loving kindness meditation for half an hour, 3 times a day, that is the equivalent in merit of feeding 1,000 people. Now, how long are you sitting in meditation? How much merit are you bringing up every time you let go of an unwholesome state and bring up that wholesome state? Merit is a real big thing in Asia. Everybody talks about doing things and making merit. You know, I want to give this to this monk because I'm going to make so much merit. Merit is good actions that leads to happiness. Loving kindness meditation, lots of good merit, more than a little bit, especially when you are doing it with vipassana. How do you know when you are doing this with vipassana? By your relaxing, that extra step of relaxing, of purifying your mind of craving, feeling that expansion, calm mind, no distractions at all. Bring that back to your object of meditation. And you do that over and over again. Your mind starts to get the idea that it likes it, and this is kind of a fun game, right? And then you're making so much good merit that eventually the craving will not arise and you get to experience an unconditional state, nibbana. That's what we are working for here. That's why we are doing this. The harder you hold on to wanting to be the same as you always were, the harder you hold on to that, the longer it takes for the meditation to work. It will still work, but it doesn't work near as fast as it could when you make up the mind that I want to let go of everything, even the slightest little with tiny longing for something. And now there's a word in Pali called chanda, and it is basically means pointing your mind in the direction you want it to go, pointing your mind towards the wholesome. But once you point your mind in that direction, you let it go. You don't hold on to it. You don't keep telling yourself that. We want to direct your mind towards letting go of suffering. You make that determination in your mind. I'm going to let go of anything that causes suffering to arise. And then you start sixaring it. Your mind becomes so wholesome, it becomes so uplifted that it will tend towards that end result. Good stuff, huh? Loves.
Let's pause here and reflect what we can understand from Bhante speaking. So Bhante here is talking about keeping the precepts. The more we start keeping precepts, the deeper our meditation goes and the quicker we are going to experience harmonies. And here it is talking about how equivalent, how much merit one gains when they are practicing the loving kindness meditation. There's also one sutta where it says a similar kind of thing. If you are doing loving kindness practice, then it's like feeding 100 pots of food to 100 people or 100 pots of food to in the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon, and in the evening. It gives that much merit when we are practicing loving kindness. And yeah, Bande is talking about the relaxed step that is the part of the right effort that we are doing. And it's very important, and sometimes we just let it go, let it go, let it go, and we think 6 hours are not working. And then all of a sudden, we remember to relax. So each time we are doing 6 hours, relaxing is very important, and then smile and come back to loving kindness. And here we can see the harder we hold on wanting something, in the progress becomes slower. And the more we are molding ourselves to change, the easier and the faster the progress becomes. The meditation can work faster. And here, Bande is talking about the Pali word chanda. This pointing your mind towards the wholesome. Actually, we can put an intention as we wake up, or maybe while doing any of the activity. Just give an intention, set up your intention, saying my mind will be in this particular, mm, maybe uplifted while doing this particular act, or set an intention such that you will keep smiling. Small intention, but keeps working. It's like directing your mind to be happy, to be wholesome. Yeah, I'll continue Nandamani from here. Majjhima Nikaya. With the stilling of thinking and examining thought, he enters upon and abides in the second jhana, which has self-confidence and stillness of mind. without thinking and examining thought, joy and happiness form collectiveness. Bhante Ramsey. Once you get to the second jhana, you really start getting confidence that you know what this process is and how to use the 6 hours, and you start getting confident at being able to use it all of the time. Now, the second jhana is where noble silence occurs. Noble silence. An awful lot of people, med- dif- awful lot of different meditation centers, they say you are not supposed to talk. I don't want you to talk at all. So everybody whispers, but they still wind up talking. But noble silence is letting go the wish of verbalizing it. Now you know what that wish is. All you have to bring up is that feeling of peace and calm. You don't have to verbalize it at all. Okay, so here, second channel and its factors. As we cross the first channel, the internal mobilization, and the second channel is called noble silence. Majjhima Nikaya, with the fading away as well of rupture, a monk abides in equanimity, mindful and fully aware, still feeling pleasure with the body. He enters upon and abides in the third jhana, on account of which noble ones announce he has a pleasant abiding, who has equanimity and is mindful. When you get to this stage, you don't have joy arise anymore, but you feel very strong balance of mind. You have full awareness of everything that's happening around you. You hear a sound, but it doesn't make your mind wobble or jump to it because you have equanimity. It's a balance of mind. Distractions just don't get so big anymore. You feel more comfortable than you have ever felt before. When you start losing tension in your mind, you start losing tension in your body. When you lose tension in your body, it's like different parts start to disappear. You will be sitting there and you will say, I don't have my legs. Where is my hand? Where's my shoulder? And it's not that if I come up and touch you, you won't feel that. You would, you would, but you don't have the tension anymore. And that's what you are generally feeling when you feel things in your body. So getting into the third jhana is very nice, and this is where your blood starts to purify. All kinds of healing starts to happen in the body. It's really kind of neat. Okay, so now when we have entered the third jhana, we start to experience equanimity, balance of the mind, and then the fading away is a ceasing of rupture. That is the first jhana joy that we experience, the excited kind of joy. That joy ceases in the third jhana, and then slowly you feel the body is kind of disappearing. It's not like uh, you don't have this body anymore. It's only that your body feels much lighter, or when you put your attention, you can feel the body, but if you don't like to put the attention and just experience the mind, then it feels like it's present or it's not there kind of feeling. With the abandoning of pleasure and pain and the previous disappearance of joy and grief, a monk enters upon and abides in the fourth jhana, which has neither pain nor pleasure, and purity of mindfulness due to equanimity. When you get into radiating the loving kindness up to the third jhana, you will feel it from your heart. From there on, you don't feel it in your heart anymore. You start feeling it in your head. You start radiating loving kindness, and your mind has very strong balance. This is as high, it will take you to the fourth jhana. Then, then you get the rest of the Brahma Viharas, and they come up naturally, and they come up by themselves. An awful lot of teachers will tell you that you should practice compassion, but compassion comes up by itself when you practice in this way. And there are other things that happen while you are in the state of compassion. You are starting to get into the arupa jhanas. The arupa jhanas take you to the realm of nothingness with the Brahma Viharas. That's as far as the Brahma Viharas will go. But they are leading the path that takes you to neither perception nor non-perception, and the cessation of perception and feeling, that it's leading you on that path. You go through all of these jhanas faster with loving kindness than with any other kind of meditation. But that's when I like to teach loving kindness, so that your mind can have more and more space and calm than it ever experienced before. So, after the third jhana, with the cessation of pleasure and pain, a person enters and abides in the fourth jhana, which has neither pain nor pleasure, and purity of mindfulness due to equanimity. And then Bante goes on to explain about how the loving kindness feeling, how your mind has this balanced state. And this this is the fourth jhana is the limit of loving kindness. And then the arupa jhanas from this fourth jhana and beyond is what the arupa jhanas, Brahma Viharas is called. And of course, compassion, they say you have to practice compassion, but it's a natural way of it. That's how it comes naturally. And we cannot generate forcefully something as big as Brahma Viharas. And as we keep walking on the path, these Brahma Viharas, loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity grow within us, and at times they come up naturally. And through these Brahma Viharas, they lead us until neither perception nor non-perception. And from there, we experience cessation of perception and feeling. And the fastest way Bante felt as to experience these jhanas through Brahma Viharas and through cessation is through loving kindness practice with right effort. This is called bliss of renunciation, the bliss of seclusion, the bliss of peace, the bliss of enlightenment. I say of this kind of pleasure that it should be pursued, that it should be developed, that it should be cultivated, that it should not be feared. Here, Udayin, quite secluded from sensual pleasures, and I go through all of the jhanas again. Now, this, I say, belongs to the perturbable, and what therein belongs to the perturbable, the Bante Ram said, applied now. Majjhima Nikaya, thinking and examining thought that have not ceased therein, that is what belongs to the perturbable. Here, Udayin, distilling of thinking and examining thought, now enters upon and abides in Kinjana. Now, this, I say, also belongs to the perturbable, and that therein belongs to the perturbable. The joy and happiness that have not ceased therein, that is what belongs to the perturbable. Here, Udayin, the fading away as well of joy, enters upon by its third charm. Now, this, I say, also belongs to the perturbable, and what therein belongs to the perturbable, the equanimity and pleasure that have not ceased therein, that is what belongs to the perturbable. Again, Udayin, with the abandoning of pleasure and pain, enters upon and abides in the fourth jhana. Now, this, I say, belongs to the imperturbable. Okay. Bhante Ramsi. Now, why do I say when you get to the fourth jhana, you are considered an advanced meditator? Because you are going to the imperturbable states, because the equanimity is so strong. Okay, we'll see what it's talking about. So, just before, while we are starting the session, we have read that sensual pleasures are fearful or should not be developed and should not engage in them, should not cultivate them, should not develop them. And then it goes on, and Sukta talks about the jhanas and the experience of the jhana. So these enlightenment, this process that the nirvana, cessation of feeling and perception, all of these things, what we have read, is what Buddha is asking us to develop, cultivate. And these kind of joy or happiness that we are experiencing, it should not be feared. And this is bliss of enlightenment, bliss of peace, bliss of seclusion. And again, the whole of the first jhana, second jhana, he goes on to explain. And we can see here the first jhana, there is still not much balance. Second jhana, the joy is not balanced. The third jhana, you have a little bit of balance coming in due to equanimity. But in the fourth jhana, it is called imperturbable because of the fully established equanimity. And Sister Kema used to give a very good example, which I like. She says, if you are in the jhana, this is your meditation. This is the first jhana, like a single tripod, single and like a stand post. It can fall anyway, no balance. Then there is uh, in the second jhana, you have two, a little bit of balance coming in, still swaying. The third jhana, it's like a tripod, still swaying, not much. But in the fourth jhana, when the base is strong, when you enter the fourth jhana, even though there is something that steady, that is swaying you from left, right, up and down, but there is lot much stability. There's a strong balance of your mind. So that's where the imperturbable with the mind is, even if there is a hindrance, it just knows that there is a hindrance, you know, fixate, and it's not much bothered. That balance of mind. Majjhima Nikaya, here thine, quite secluded from sensual pleasures, secluded from unwholesome states, a monk enters upon and abides in first jhana. That I say is not enough. Abandon it, I say, surmount it, I say, and what surmounts it? Here Udayin, stilling of thinking and examining thought, a monk enters upon and abides in the second jhana that surmounts it. But that too, I say, is not enough. Abandon it. I say, surmount it. I say, and what surmounts it? Here Udayin, with the fading away as well of joy, the monk enters upon and abides in third jhana that surmounts. But that too, I say, is not enough. Abandon it, I say. Surmount it, I say. And what surmounts it? Here Udayin, with the abandoning of pleasure in pain, a monk enters upon and abides in fourth jhana that surmounts it. But that too, I say, is not enough. Abandon it, I say. Surmount it, I say. And what surmounts it? Here thine, the complete surmounting of perceptions of gross form, with the disappearance of perception of sensory impact, of gross sensory impact, with non-attention to perception of diversity, away that space is infinite. A monk enters upon and abides in the base of infinite space that surmounts us, but that too, I say, is not enough. Abandon it, I say. Surmount it, I say. And what surmounts it? Here, Udayin, by completely surmounting the base of infinite space, away that consciousness is infinite. This is a fun state to get into, by the way. Majjhima Nikaya, a monk enters upon and abides in the base of infinite consciousness that surmounts it. But that too, I say, is not enough. Abandon it, I say. Surmount it, I say. And what surmounts it? Here thine, by completely surmounting the base of infinite consciousness, aware that nothing, there is nothing, a monk enters upon and abides in the base of nothingness that surmounts it. But that too, I say, is not enough. Abandon it, I say. Surmount it, I say. And what surmounts it? Here thine, by completely surmounting the base of nothingness, a monk enters upon and abides in the base of neither perception nor non-perception that surmounts it. But that too, I say, is not enough. Abandon it, I say. Surmount it, I say. And what surmounts it? Here Udayin, by completely surmounting the base of neither perception nor non-perception, a monk enters upon and abides in the cessation of perception and feeling that surmounts it. Thus, I speak of the abandoning, even of the base of neither perception nor non-perception. Do you see, Udayin, any fetter, small or great, of those abandoning? I do not speak, no, Venerable Sir. What that is what the blessed one said. the Venerable Udayin satisfied and delighted in the blessed one's words. And it went through all of the jhanas, all of the Brahma Viharas, and the Buddha is wanting us to let go of those Brahma Viharas as well, and let go of neither perception nor not perception, and let go of perception and feeling and experience the Nibbana. This is what the Buddha wants us to do. And Bante Ramsi, he went through the whole ball game, but he didn't say how Nibbana is experienced. When you come out of the cessation of perception and feeling, it's like you have a clean slate, a clean board, and you start seeing how dependent origination arises and how it ceases. And when you see the final letting go of ignorance, and ignorance is not understanding the four noble truths, then Nibbana occurs. It can't happen any other way. I don't care what any other monk will tell you. It says it so often in the suttas that you can't ignore it. That is how Nibbana occurs. I know that there are some people that say Nibbana occurs when you see impermanence, suffering, and answer. But there is a statement in one of the books that says you can see one of all of the three characteristics without ever seeing dependent origination. But when you see dependent origination, you see all three of those characteristics. You see what it's really saying. It says you have to focus in a different way, not on this impermanence, suffering, and concept. You have to focus on dependent origination, and you will always see that, and it's real apparent. But the way you attain Nibbana is by teaching yourself how dependent origination actually works. And you see it so often that that not one doubt will ever arise in your mind again, as it says in the Satipatthana Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 10:46. Monks, if anybody should develop these foundations of mindfulness in such a way for 7 years, one of the two fruits should be expected for him, either final liberation here and now, or if there is a trace clinging left, non-return. Let alone 7 years, monks. If anyone should develop the mindfulness in this way for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, for 1 year, one of the two fruits could be expected for him, either final knowledge here and now, or if there is a trace of clinging left, let alone 1 year. Once if anyone should develop their mindfulness in such a way for 7 months, 6 months, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, half a month, one of the two result fruits could be expected for him, either final knowledge here and now, or if there is a trace of clinging left, non-return. Let alone half a month. This is what I was saying, Chmanikara. If anyone should develop this mindfulness in such a way for 7 days, one of the two fruits would be expected for him, either final knowledge here and now, or if there is a trace of clinging, non-return. Yeah, I think after this we have Sri of merits. So just we just back we are seeing and we learn. So here we have it's talking about letting go of all of the Brahma Viharas, jhanas, and experience the Nibbana. And Bante talks about the Nibbana experience, how it feels, and this is regarding the three characteristics of existence. And in the Suktas, it's very clear that one who sees dependent origination sees three characteristics of existence and experiences the Dhamma, and not the other way around. And in Satipatthana Sutta, it says if a person is practicing these four foundations of mindfulness, then for 7 years and it goes on for 7 years, 6 years, 5 years, even 7 months. Even for 7 days, if a person practices mindfulness and with regard to the four Satipathanas, then two fruits are expected from either final knowledge here and now, or if the trace of doing it, then we bear non-return. And then Bhante Vimlaramsi says, time to get busy, laughs. No pressure, but I expect it by the end of this week, guys. Laughs. Just stay with the 6 hours. Keep it light. Keep it fun. Smile into everything. And when smiling is really hard to do, then laugh. Okay. Any questions? Okay, let's share some merit there. Anybody wants to reflect on this sutta before we share the merits?
Indeed, it is a very good sutta. It started, if I can remember, Blessed One advising us to stop overeating, and some monks were not happy about it, but this venerable Bhante followed the instructions of the Blessed One and had the right attitude, and he progressed with the meditation. He had more time to meditate, and the way he was talking about, it's very clear that he's very willing to follow the advice of the Blessed One and apply the right effort and progress. And Blessed One is saying, guard your five senses. When you follow the precepts and guard your five senses, you naturally and automatically enter all these stages of jhana. It's talking about 8 jhanas, and then he says, naturally the mind flows into the 9th jhana, cessation of perception and feelings and awakening. It is a really beautiful sutta. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nanda Madam, for recollecting back the whole sutta, because it's a very lengthy reading. Almost this third part that we are doing today. Okay, let's share some merit. May suffering ones be suffering free, and fear stuff fearless free. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May you all be very happy.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Wishing all happiness. Thank you.